Welcome to the Deskbound Therapy Podcast, hosted by David London. David is a posture and mobility expert, yoga teacher, and certified online trainer. This podcast is about empowering deskbound professionals, how to live their healthiest life, and move pain-free. If you work at a desk job and want to move pain-free, look and feel your best. Let's get the conversation started to see if you could be a good fit for David's coaching program. Connect with us through all the social platforms and see the show notes below. Now, let's dive into this episode.
What is up, guys? Welcome back to episode 28 of the Deskbound Therapy Podcast. If you haven't tuned into the show before, I'm your host, David London, and this show is all about empowering deskbound professionals how to live their healthiest life and move pain-free. In previous episodes, we've had guests come on talking about rehab science, meditation for deskbound professionals, stress management for deskbound professionals, mobility, yoga, and all great things that can help deskbound professionals live pain-free. So if you haven't yet checked out those previous episodes on iTunes, today is going to be a 5-minute clinic, DBT 5-minute clinic number 2. I'm going to be talking about some key tips and strategies that you can use to remember to take breaks throughout the day, to remember to optimize your ergonomics, and remember to focus on doing your deskbound therapy movement breaks throughout the day. We all know how important it is because in the last episode I talked about taking the time in the morning to really get your body moving. So that's great, and you're using that as your first invitation of the day to move more. But you also want to remember that throughout the day you're going to get sore and you're going to get tired. It's not going to be possible to always have optimal posture throughout the day. So what you want to do is you want to think of the exercises such as, I prefer to type while I'm sitting versus I like to stand when I'm reading. So that's just one example, and you can use those as your internal cues and your internal dialogue to remember when to take breaks from the desk. So for example, find out what those are. Then over time, as you get into the habit, every time, say you take a phone call at work, you stand up and do a few exercises while you're on your phone. You got your headphones in and all of that great stuff. And then, when you're doing something else, like say, for example, you write your emails sitting down. So this is a really effective strategy because it's going to eventually become so easy for you to get up and remember to take those breaks because you're going to use that little moment as a cue to get moving and doing some activity, because really you don't want to sit all day. It's going to be impossible to maintain good posture all day long. Eventually your back is going to get tired and sore. So it's just really a matter of, being proactive and using your deskbound therapy resources. And, a lot of people, when they come to me, they'll say, it's great, I'm taking the time and I'm taking a break from sitting and working, but they find themselves that they're saying they don't have time to do a full stretch routine, when in reality, you don't really need an hour. You can just start with one thing. It can be as simple as, if you're watching the video here, doing a few cat-cows right here seated in my chair. And getting consistent with that, guys. Consistency. Doing that once per hour, twice per hour. Focus on that one thing. And say you have a shoulder and that's your problem area. Once you've been consistent for at least a week doing one exercise at your desk, then you can throw another one on top of that. But the key to not overwhelm you, especially if you're new to your movement practice, is to just take the time to develop small habits, because you don't want to give yourself too much and be discouraged and say, I have this whole stretch break routine to do. But figure out what your problem areas are. If you have mid-back pain, working more upper back stuff. If you have shoulder issues, prioritize that. And then throughout the day, you can do 8 a.m. I'm going to do a back stretch. 10 a.m. I'm going to do a hip stretch. Noon, lunchtime, you can do a longer routine. You can go for a walk and get the body moving. But it's about focusing on your nagging areas, or the areas you really want to focus on improving your mobility when you're taking those breaks. And another great strategy to take breaks from your desk is to work following the DBT work break action plan. So what you do is essentially you have an activity, you work for 25 minutes, and after that 25 minutes of focused work, you take a break, you get up for your desk, and you move your body for 2 to 5 minutes. It's that simple. 2 to 5 minutes, you move your body, You do a little bit of meditation, whatever you need to recharge yourself, to reset your posture, so when you get back to sitting or standing at your desk, you're in an optimal position. So that's a really key thing you can do throughout the day. And after, if you've done 2 or 3 of those things, you can do a 15 or 20 minute break. That can be, in your afternoon or in the lunchtime. But just rewinding a little bit, a big thing you need to remember is taking those breaks and actually having the thought and the idea that you want to improve your posture is a really, really big thing, because it's an invitation to move more and move better. A lot of people just say, I have bad posture and my posture sucks. But coming down to, your why you want to improvement is going to give you that invitation to learn to move better. Posture is a great thing to focus on, but even more important than that, it's an invitation to move more, an invitation to learn about your body and discover about yourself. For example, I have this new client, and I've noticed in his online mobility assessment that there was issues with his ankle. It didn't move super well. And then we gave him some ankle mobility exercises, and his patellar tendonitis in his knee of 2 years has gone away. And we've been working together for just 3 weeks. So it's really powerful stuff. So really use that invitation to move more and learn about your body. And that's really one of the key principles of living pain-free long-term, is developing that body awareness. And this is something I also talk about with my clients a lot of time, is there's a big disconnect for people who are working desk jobs, between, how their body feels in terms of soreness and their intuition and body awareness to be able to pick up on those signals. Because you don't want to, sit all day and slouch and have that back pain and just let it be and not deal with it, because then you're not listening to your body and you're not going to get the same output throughout the day when you're working at your desk. So a lot of really great principles so far. So I really encourage you to take that time, find the activities that you perform best seated or standing as another key to get moving better. Another quick tip here is find a friend to keep you accountable. Find your DBT buddy. Find someone at your office, or maybe it's your partner or your child at home, to take that stretch weight with you and be like, hey, you've been sitting for a while. How about you go do some Deskbound therapy? How about you go and get moving better? And it can be as simple as that. There's a lot of exercises on my Instagram page. Just pick 1 or 2. Start with those. See what helps you get moving and living pain-free. Another strategy to remember to take breaks, because we know how difficult it can be. Even for me, I've been sitting for a little bit today, but that's okay. Right before I recorded this, I took a little stretch break. Another key thing is, if you don't like the work break action plan, is to create a set playlist that you're going to listen to, or a podcast, whatever, when you're working at your desk, whether it be 30 to 45 minutes. And as soon as that's done, have a set ending. It could be even a YouTube playlist. Put a certain number of songs in. Whenever that's done, that's your cue to take a break. And I'm also working on another great thing coming out soon on the podcast, but it's going to be music that you're going to listen to really help you focus at your desk. It's going to be focusing meditation music to really get you productive. It's going to be 25 minutes. And then once that 25 minutes are done, you're going to come right into a guided stretch. So we're going to have that out coming soon. Make sure to stay tuned for the announcement. I'm really excited for that. I hope you enjoyed today's episode of the DBT 5-Minute Clinic. If you would like to download my free desk stretch routine, all you have to do is go to the show notes below or my Instagram bio, click the link, my free DBT stretch routine, and I'll send that right to your inbox. And if you have any questions, let me know. You can email me, david@deskboundtherapy.com. And if you enjoyed this episode, which I hope you did, and you found it useful, let me know in the comments, if you're watching on YouTube, what resonated with you the most, and let me know what you want to see on the next 5-Minute Clinic. Have an amazing day, and don't forget, you gotta stay flexible, guys.